Oh, we could fly.
Welcome back to Have a Cup of Johnny. This season isn't about hustling harder. It's about coming home to yourself, to your voice, to your breath, to the quiet truth that you're still here and you're not starting over. You're starting again. This is your space to reflect, reset, and remember who the hell you are. So pour your cafecito and let's begin. Vasitos, I am so sorry. I can't believe I left y'all hanging. But these next episodes, I'm going to explain to you everything that happened. But please take this as my apology. So I got into the office by yelling out, "Babe, I'm finally recording an episode for my podcast." And that right there should tell you everything. So finally, I'm starting to get back to myself. I am starting to get back to those things that make me feel like me, make me feel nourished, make me feel like my full self, Joa. So that is what we're going to talk about. I know I missed much of April. Uh, but we're going to talk about that. That's going to be my theme, getting back to self. Are y'all ready? Of course you are. Because that's why you came back. That's why you came back. All right, Besitos. So y'all have heard me before. I was PCSing. I had a big move to do from Kentucky to Texas, and I accomplished that. And I thought that that was it, right? I mean, it's nothing I haven't done before. I've been doing this for a little bit. And yeah, nothing I haven't done before. But it took me out, right? It took me out because there was several things in there that it was like, oof, whiplash. It was now we had the babies with us that we had to take that into consideration. We had our dog who is now older. We had to take that into consideration. So if you're a pet owner, you're listening to this, you know that there's a few things that just change when your pets they go from being young into their quote unquote teenage years. And then all of a sudden it's like, woof, they're elderly, right? So yeah, and that's where Lady is at. So it means more potty breaks. It means she gets anxious just a little bit more, and she needs to be consoled a little bit more, and all of that kind of stuff. Um, and then with the babies as well, I mean, they're not babies, they're grown, but I mean, we say babies. Um, of course, that's like additional as well, where it's like we have to kind of like corral the troops, as I like to say, before we stop and then before we go. So that way we're all connected. We all understand what we're doing. As I like to say, we all understand what we're doing when we hit target. I militarized the crap out of this move. You don't understand. Like I had briefings in the mornings, briefings in the evening with the family just to make sure that we all had shared understanding of the situation and we all understood our roles in this mission moving from Kentucky to Texas with a layover in El Paso. So that way we can go and have a little bit of fun. So all jokes aside, I mean, what I didn't take into consideration was the emotional whiplash of the PCSing period. And I already knew this from talking to my therapist that just saying goodbye is very hard for me. It still is. Like you heard me say, I've been doing this for quite a while now. I should be like really apt at it. But like I was telling to my therapist a while back, I was like, it doesn't get any easier for me. That whole part of saying goodbye to this set of people, some who I have learned to love deeply and see them as family, right? And it's just now to have to break away from that and start anew is no easy task. And if you all listening have had that experience, you can relate to this. You understand that there's a grieving process that happens. No one is going away permanently, right? No one is dying, but it's like you just know that you will not see these group of folks that you have bonded with and you have learned to love for a very long time, if not at all, right? So it is a big emotional whiplash, something that I just, because of the sake of the move and the sake of so many moving pieces, like I wrote out this plan that turned into like a 10-page dissertation with all the stops, what we were going to do, and then the different things that we needed to do there logistically for our move. And it was exhausting. So kind of looking at that plan, I understood like, well, Joe, you don't have any time for your feelings during this move. That's something that you'll have to push to the side. And that's kind of like what I did intentionally. So not unintentionally, like I've done before where I kind of like just shove them off to the side. This time I was like, I understand that I have emotions. I understand that I don't have time for them right now. So I'll make time for them later. But here's the thing, later didn't come because as soon as I got in, there were several things that happened. One was that the housing market was difficult. I didn't understand exactly how difficult it is. Once again, I've done this before, right? So I was not intimidated at all by it. I knew like I would be able to get into a house right away. I just knew it, you know. But that was a false assumption that I proved false when I got over here, uh, because the way that the houses are arrayed in this city is so unique and something that I had not encountered before. Okay. And it is like it's in loops, right? So you have like an inner loop, you have an outer loop, you have another outer, right? And then I know that I wanted a good neighborhood, good schools for the kiddos. That's one. But I also didn't want it to have like an hour long commute. So I wanted to have like a happy medium. If somebody was going to sacrifice, it was going to be me in my commute, right? But of course, I'm not jumping in on that right away. So of course, I'm going to try to find something that is close and it's also a good neighborhood and has good schools for the kids. So I went about it. I saw like that this was going to be a long endeavor to do that. So I was like, I'm going to have to ask for what we call house hunting days here. So I asked for house hunting days, and long and behold, right? Usually it doesn't take you that long, people. Usually it doesn't. But it did. If you're from San Antonio, I want you to listen to this. I want you to like help me out. Am I the problem here? Please tell me if I'm the problem here. But I swear it was on the ninth day that I found something, and it was a mixture of a lot of automated houses, right, that were on the market, as well as houses that were really being looked after an actual human, not an automated system. So I had to deal with both of those. I had to get certain apps for the automated houses. I had to wait for phone calls for those that were just solely being kept by humans. And mind you, one of those houses, which I really loved, and I really thought, yeah, they'll call me back. They never did. I like in my heart, I put 80% of my hopes into this rental house, to be honest with you. And I was like, perfect, it's it's far away, not too far away, in a good neighborhood. We're kind of close to Randolph, not the base where I'll be working at, but good enough. So at least my husband, the kids, right, have access to a base that is close by. And I was like, and I can do that commute. That's easy enough. I can sacrifice in there. And they never called me. And I was like, do I have the wrong number? I went by the house again, double check. No, it wasn't. I left a message. I sent emails. Nothing. absolutely nothing, right? Mind you, I wasn't waiting on that, but I was kind of like half-heartedly going through the motions. So because I really thought that that house was gonna come through, I don't know. I don't know why I was so hopeful like that. I should have, like, seen all the signs. I saw the sign, right? But I didn't see the signs, and, yeah, and then after, like, a day or 2 of waiting, I remember, like, talking to my husband and being like, they're not gonna call back." I was like, "I can't believe they don't want my money. What? What is going on? Like, these people don't want renters." And and then we debated on buying a house, right? We even went to go see a house. And I was so close to buying that one because I was like, fudge it all. I mean, if that's what it takes, then let's do it. We already have a house, but I was like, "That's cool. That's okay. I'll take over this mortgage. My husband has the other mortgage already. It's too easy. Let's go that way then. If that's what it takes to find a house in San Antonio, But once again, I prefer a rental because of the military lifestyle and all of that. That way, we can just pack it up and go, and don't have to worry about maintaining something or leasing something to other people. Ugh, it sounds exhausting, right? That's because it was, right? The month of January was super exhausting for me because it was a culmination of the move, saying goodbye, the emotional toll of saying goodbye, and then just the prepping of the emotions to be part and meet a new team, and then having all of that come to a screeching halt because now I have to get the family settled, and it's not as easy as I thought it would be. That was the month of January for me, all in a nutshell, people, all in a nutshell. And moving on, I finally got a place, and but it came with a lot of fees. So tell me, am I the problem here? I have not rented a place before, and I've done this for a while where I require like a pet rent and all this other stuff. Mind you, I have had pets since I can remember, since I was like a Sergeant E5 in the Army, with my kid because I wanted my kid to have the responsibility of a pet and being able to build empathy over taking care of something, of someone, right? So that way he can grow into a better human being. So I knew pets were important in our household. So I did that early on. But throughout my rental history, I've never come around pet rent until here. So now I am paying $100 worth of pet rent for my elderly German Shepherd that hides on thunderstorms and my little 4-pound kitten. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, 100? Really? Have you seen these pets? Like, do you know that all they do is lounge? But like this was like the one house I was like, we'll take it. We'll take it because it's like we can't be going back and forth. Like I had like very little days left. I was like, if we don't pick this one, then there's nothing else. We'll have to go to a hotel, um, wait for the whole buying process to work itself through, and all of that. So we ended up picking this house, and now we're in this house paying the pet rent along with the human rent and every other fee that they could find to charge us for. Yeah. Mm. Mm-mm. I'm still a little salty if you haven't noticed. But then comes the news that I have to go TDY for an unknown amount of time, go temporary duty location. And I'm like, okay, it can't be more than 2 or 3 weeks, right? I mean, too easy. I've done TDYs. I did TDY quite often in my last studio assignment. Too easy. I was there for almost 60 days, people. Almost 60 days. Like a week shy of 60 days. I don't know my new house. I don't know the city that I just moved into. Shoot, I don't even know the unit I'm in, but I'm going to go on this TDY with them. Nothing I haven't done before, mind you. This has happened to me before quite a few times. I don't know what it is. I guess I bring that energy wherever I go. I don't know why. But but I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. I unpack things out of boxes so I can pack them in bags and take them with me. And off I go. Off I go, completely disconnected from the new house I just came into, the new city I just moved into, my own family who is still trying to settle. So of course there's guilt lingering there because now I have left them to deal with this on their own. So and this right here, and I hope like if you don't understand the military, you don't know the military, like you kind of start to get like a feel for some of the things that we go through, and that is like a big thing. And that's why like military families, they're so precious, especially if they've been solid and together for a while, because these are things that they go on a regular basis every time their trooper has to come out for whatever mission or whatever thing that is happening. The family just gets kind of like not left behind. That sounds bad, but they are left to do the settling, to do the stabilizing, to do the household things, kind of like on their own. Now with the support of the unit, because the units usually have a structure that is called like a family readiness group of some sort. But in my case it was like we don't know the unit. So that's it's a little different. It's a bit of an obstacle that is there as well. But once again, my husband, he's a veteran, he's a retiree, so it's like he knows what he's doing. It's still though I feel the guilt because he shouldn't have to do it on his own. But he understands it. He understands it both from the soldier aspect and from the spouse aspect as well. Because when we got married in the thick of it. We got married in one of my hardest assignments when I was a first sergeant. So he completely understands the sacrifices that one has to make and things of that nature. It takes a toll. And now, mind you, I haven't really processed my emotions of saying goodbye, saying hello to a new team, and so forth. And now here I am in this new mission and things of that nature. So it's a lot of like inner work that occurs, like resiliency inner work, kind of like spiritual inner work that goes through in order to be able to function. And that's what I did. um, it took me like a week to settle when I was TDY in that mission. And then I kind of like had to come to myself and be like, okay, Johnny, let's take it like one habit at a time, because I knew that these are the habits that keep me sane. So since I've been uprooted twice in a sense in this instance, I had my habits kind of had staggered. They haven't been consistent for them to work. It's kind of like, oh, let me use this example because we're going through colds right now in my family. So it's kind of like not taking your jarabe, your cold medicine, continuously, and then you miss it, and then the symptoms comes back, right? And then you start it again, right? And then it eases up a little bit, but then something happens and then you stop, and the symptoms come back even worse, right? It's kind of like that. Um, with the habits because it was kind of like this whiplash, start, stop, and so forth. So after being a week there, I was like, okay, stop, let's regroup because we need to do something because we got to be able to function now in this new role and kind of push away and step away from the old one and thinking about the old one and what happened back there. And I will tell you more about that and how I approach that on uh, the habits that kept me sane, which is the next episode. I'll see you all on the next one. Bye.
Oh, we could fly.
If today's episode spoke to you, share with somebody who's finding their way back too. And if you haven't yet, visit haveacupofjohnny.com for more stories, blog posts, and the books that started it all. Thank you for being here. Until next time, be soft, be bold, and always have a cup of Johnny.